Daniel Petric was a normal teenager living in a small town in Ohio. He was 15 years old. He loved football more than anything else. He played every season. He had friends, went to school, and did everything a regular kid would do. But in 2006, everything changed. One winter day, Daniel went snowboarding with his friends. They were laughing, racing down the slopes, having fun. But Daniel crashed. It wasn't just a small fall. It was bad. He hurt his spine. Doctors told him he could have been paralyzed. And just like that, his life of sports was over. No more football. No more running. No more school for a while. He was stuck at home, recovering. At first, Daniel tried to be strong. But it was hard. He was in pain. He was lonely. And then it got worse. After Daniel hurt his back, he thought life couldn't get any worse. But then, it did. He caught something called a staph infection. At first, it just felt like he had a fever. But it got worse fast. His body started to hurt in ways he didn't understand. His skin was hot. His muscles ached. Even the smallest movements made him feel weak and dizzy. The infection made him so sick that he couldn't get out of bed anymore. Not even to use the bathroom without help. He needed his mom or dad just to stand up. Day after day, he stayed in bed, lying under the same old blanket, staring at the ceiling. His legs weren't strong enough to walk. His arms felt too tired to lift. Sometimes he couldn't even eat on his own. The room smelled like medicine and sweat. The sun peeked through the blinds, but he never got to go outside. The sound of kids playing in the street made his chest hurt, not from the infection, but from the feeling of being left out. Daniel couldn't go to school anymore, either. At first, his friends would text him to say they missed him, but over time, the messages stopped coming. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. The silence grew louder. The walls of his room started to feel like a cage. He tried reading books or watching TV, but nothing held his attention. His world felt cold and empty. The one thing that used to bring him joy, football, was completely gone. He wasn't Daniel the athlete anymore. He was just Daniel, the sick kid stuck in bed. Eventually, his parents signed him up for homeschooling. A teacher would send lessons, but even those felt like a chore. There was no laughter, no locker room jokes, no high fives, no game days, just quiet, all the time. Every single day felt the same. Then, one afternoon, something small changed everything. He borrowed an old game console from a friend. At first, he just played for a few minutes to pass the time. But soon, those few minutes turned into hours. For the first time in months, Daniel felt like he could move again, even if it was just in a digital world. In that moment, video games became more than just a toy. They became his escape, his freedom, his way to feel alive again. At first, it seemed innocent enough. Daniel started going over to a friend's house every now and then. They'd hang out, talk, and play a few video games together. That's when Daniel was introduced to something new, Halo. It wasn't like the other games he'd played before. Halo was loud, fast, and full of action. In the game, you weren't just some regular guy. You were a super soldier, running across strange alien worlds, shooting enemies, saving the day. There were glowing weapons, explosions, and wild music blasting in the background. Everything about it felt exciting. Daniel couldn't get enough. Before this, the only games he ever played were sports games like Madden. He and his dad used to play those together sometimes, especially when Daniel still dreamed about getting back on the football field. But Halo was something else. It was more than a game, it was a rush. For a kid stuck in bed, robbed of movement and strength, Halo gave him something football couldn't anymore, a feeling of power. When Daniel picked up that controller, he wasn't the weak kid in bed anymore. He was fast. He was strong. He could run, jump, fight, do everything he couldn't do in real life. Every time he played, the pain faded into the background. The loneliness didn't feel as sharp. The game gave him something to hold on to, something to chase, something that made him feel alive again. But then it started becoming a problem. He wanted to play all the time. 5 hours, 10 hours, 18 hours. He didn't care about eating, didn't care about sleeping. He just wanted to play Halo. Now here's the thing, Daniel's parents were very religious. His dad was a pastor. They didn't allow violent games in their house. So when Daniel talked about Halo, They said no, over and over again, but Daniel didn't listen. He became obsessed. Then in 2007, when Halo 3 was released, Daniel had to get it. But he knew his parents wouldn't let him. So what did he do? He sneaked out of his house in the middle of the night with $70 in his pocket. He went to the store. He bought the game. But when he came home, his mom caught him. She saw the game in his hands and was furious. So was his dad. They took the game away from him and locked it in a small safe in the closet. They also kept a handgun in that same box. The dad put the key on his key ring. Daniel was crushed. This is when the story started to get dark. Daniel couldn't forget about the game. He couldn't move on. He didn't just miss it. He needed it. The game made him feel alive. It made him feel strong. And now it was gone, taken away by the two people he thought were supposed to help him, his mom and dad. He started fighting with his dad more and more. At first, it was just shouting. But then one night, things got really bad. His dad looked him in the eyes and said, "It's either the video games or this house. You have to choose." Daniel didn't even think about it. He just said, "Fine, I'm leaving." He packed a small bag, walked out the front door, and went to stay at his friend's house. That weekend felt like heaven to him. No parents, no rules, just him, his friend, and Halo. They played all day. They played all night. No one told them to stop. Daniel was smiling again. He felt like himself. But deep down, something was wrong. He was still mad. Really mad. He couldn't stop thinking about how his parents took his game. He felt like they didn't care about him. Like they didn't understand what he had been through. That anger didn't go away. It got worse. And soon, that anger started to turn into something dangerous. Daniel went back home a few days later. No one knows if he pretended to make peace with his parents or if they actually forgave each other. But he was back. Quiet. Calm. Like nothing ever happened. But he was planning something. Every night, his dad would come home, set his keys down on the kitchen counter, and sit in the living room to watch TV. It was the same routine. One night, Daniel waited. He quietly picked up his dad's keys, went to the closet, opened the safe. Inside, his game and his dad's handgun. He took them both. His mom and dad were sitting on the couch, getting ready to watch a baseball game. Daniel walked in holding the gun behind his back. He said, "Close your eyes. I have a surprise for you." They smiled. They trusted him. And when their eyes closed, Daniel shot his dad in the face. His mom opened her eyes in horror. He shot her too. She died instantly. Daniel tried to make it look like his dad had killed his mom. He started putting the gun into his dad's hand. But then, ding-dong, the doorbell rang. It was his sister and her husband. They had come to watch the baseball game too. Daniel panicked. He ran to the door. "Don't come in," he said. "Mom and Dad are arguing. It's bad." But from the living room, a soft groan came. It was his dad. He was still alive, bleeding, but alive. The sister heard the moan. She pushed past Daniel and ran inside. She saw her mom dead on the floor, her dad barely breathing. She screamed. Her husband grabbed the gun from Daniel. She called 911. Daniel didn't fight. He just stood there. Then, quietly, he picked up his copy of Halo 3. He got into the family van and drove off to his friend's house. Yes, even after everything, he just wanted to play that game. Police caught him soon after and arrested him. In court, Daniel's lawyers tried to explain what happened. They said he wasn't thinking clearly, that he was addicted to Halo, that the game had taken over his mind. They told the jury that Daniel didn't fully understand what he was doing, that in his head, he believed people came back to life after being shot, just like in the video game. But the judge didn't see it that way. The judge said Daniel knew right from wrong, that planning the attack, taking the keys, opening the lockbox, and grabbing the gun, those were choices. Real choices, not mistakes. And because of that, Daniel had to face the consequences. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. He will have a chance at parole, but not for another 23 years. By then, he'll be a middle-aged man, and the world will have moved on without him. His father, somehow, survived the shooting. But the damage was deep. He lost his wife, the woman he loved. And he lost his son too, not to death, but to something just as painful. He had to sit in that courtroom and watch the boy he raised be sent away forever. A family destroyed, all because of a video game. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.